Many games designers have more literary influences, while cinema seems more important to you. What are your main cinematic influences?
Okay, so cinema, I think we could stay like 1 hour talking about this.
Yeah, but
So we need to make it short.
yes.
I'm gonna let you go ahead, but I would say that our influences are similar, but not because we are a hive mind and I have no personality. It's actually
When we met, we already.
yes, exactly. We happened to click because we had a lot of things in common.
So we also have literary influences, even though the cinematic ones are probably more important
And obvious.
in more obvious. Yes, we reference them more often. For example, Ratchet New Flash as when we talk about the focus of it, it's divided. On one hand, yes, the Cronenberg is a large influence, but William S. Burroughs has laid the foundation of the game. He didn't know about that, but when he wrote Naked Lunch, he was doing other stuff. But yeah, that's and there are others that have.
But even
different
Cronenberg
influences.
is influenced by
Yeah,
William
by
Burroughs,
Burroughs,
so it
yes.
all makes sense.
Yeah, it's connected. So, but yeah, when we started and even before, when I was just doing scenarios for myself and for my group, I already had a very also always had a very obvious cinematic influence. Welcome to St. Cloud is not actually cinematic, but it's influenced by David Lynch. So and I think that when I wrote Welcome to St. Cloud in 2001, 2002, it was the first time that I did one scenario, a large one with lots of information and well, something that was could have been publishable even at the time. And it probably influenced what I did after that, because it was I discovered a different way of engaging with role-playing games and writing role-playing material, and it set the standard for what came after, including our film lofts and the Memorial, and Sisters of the Seven Sins, etc., etc. But in terms of Ratchet, obviously. The first big influence for that was spaghetti western, and obviously that is just a cinematic medium. There's no spaghetti western in literature or whatever. I'm not going to say this is our major cinematic influence. It is Ratchet's main cinematic influence.
Spaghetti western, and also I would say all those bad European movies that go along with it.
Yes, that's true.
You got spaghetti fantasy, the giallo.
Yeah, what did they call it?
I know they call it that.
Well,
the Euro crime, all those.
Yes, Euro movies of the 70s. But yeah, the most iconic are the spaghetti western, because the idea of having anti-heroes that are the protagonists of the movie, not just one character, because we can, for example, let's talk about the Dollar Trilogy. Obviously, Clint Eastwood is the protagonist, but Tuco is an important character, and Lee Van Cleef's character, who I don't remember his name, is also a major character. In the other movies, not so much, but that one is, I think, probably the favorite for most people. So I would say that that is, and it happens in other movies, of course. Usually, George Hilton always does characters that are kind of, he has that he doesn't look like a nice guy.
Yeah, but he's a nice villain.
Yeah,
even when he's not really a villain.
That's it. That's not quite villains. I would say Franco Nero's character are probably a little less, because he has that look that it looks like a hero. It doesn't look like an anti-hero. But then again, Charles Bronson, most of his career he did anti-heroes. He's known for a character that has nothing to do with spaghetti western, but his characters, not just one, because there are more movies about vigilantes, but all those vigilante movies with Bronson is always an anti-hero, maybe a villain, perhaps. Well, nowadays it would be considered a villain, obviously. Ratchet was influenced by any movie that has a an anti-hero as a protagonist, and the movies from that time and those Italian or European productions were very rich in that kind
And
of
it also
character.
helps with, well, like you said, when you wrote Welcome to St. Cloud, is the idea of a film, at least for me, or a TV show, works very well to adapt to an adventure or a campaign better than a book. But I guess
Yes,
at the same time, we do not aim to write great literature, just to write things that are fun. And then I go to the exploitation movies and the spaghetti western. Is the idea behind the Ratchet and the exploitation movies, low budget movies, is that something that is fun and done on a budget, but actually works.
and also an influence, as I said before, Welcome to St. Cloud is obviously influenced by David Lynch, particularly something that is not cinematic, but I don't know. It's almost cinematic. Twin Peaks is better than many movies. The newest season, the third season, is actually better than any movie done over the last 20 years. You can pick one episode, never mind. If you pick the eighth episode, it's probably better than movies of the last 40 years, maybe. The others not as amazing, but also but still they are better than what people do nowadays, easily. So the fact that I did Welcome to St. Cloud at that time, and that influenced everything from then on, because I started using not just cinematic influences, but also the Twin Peaks influence, which is the weird soap opera.
Surreal.
Yeah, the surreal soap opera as a concept and as a base for not all scenarios, but especially the horror ones. It doesn't apply as easily to fantasy, for example, but for modern horror, it's very easily. But then now we can talk about our own cinematic influences, because the question is a bit ambiguous about that. So, which are our major influences in terms of cinema?
Well, David Lynch, of course.
Yes, David Lynch, obviously.
Well, Lars von Trier.
For me, not so much anymore.
For me, it's still there, and in the weird movies that inspire me, he's still there.
John Carpenter more than before.
Yes.
Nowadays, I really, it's very unfortunate that he didn't keep doing movies, and he was never very prolific, but he almost gave it up. But yeah, John Carpenter.
Cronenberg also more than before for me, especially since the new Flash. And every time that I want to have something that is flashy, Cronenberg is probably always there.
Yeah, I like Cronenberg.
And then you want to talk about Jesse Franco?
Yes, I have. But before that, one of the best directors ever and still alive, it's Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
Obviously, he was an influence not just on us, but also on Ratchet. I don't know if you'll see any more movie from him, but he has done some of the best movies of this century, probably. Gran Torino is a great movie. I can't remember which year. 2010.
I have no idea. Me and numbers.
Yeah, well, of course, it's not his best movie. If he had done Unforgiven in the 2010s, I'm sure that in the next 50 years we could say that it's the best movie in the 21st century, probably. But unfortunately, it was so we can't do that. But probably Gran Torino might not be the 21st, one of the best in the 21st century. Who else?
Kubrick.
Yes, of course. Yes. obviously Kubrick is not a great influence over Ratchet because it makes no sense. Well, there's Shining, of course. Also the red one. It's not just Twin Peaks, it's also Shining. The movie, not the book. We don't like Stephen King.
He doesn't like it. Well, he doesn't know who
No,
we
well,
are.
but he wouldn't like it. He's very woke. I like Wes Craven as well. He has done some interesting stuff. And the Italians are obviously
Yeah, all the Italians.
Lucio Fulci, Sergio Leone, Dario Argento. Dario Argento has a problem. His daughter.
I'm trying to remember
And his recent movies are also trash.
There's Lucio
Mario Bava.
Fulci. Yes, I always forget Mario Bava.
He has
Although I like
there's another Bava.
Yeah.
I think it's his son. Yeah, Mario Bava is the father. Can't remember the name of the son. Or the Holy Ghost. Coppola is not bad. I haven't probably watched his most recent movies. Polanski,
we are avoiding, yes, of course, Polanski.
Polanski is one of the directors I would still watch a movie if he does.
I can still watch.
Well, there's one. So,
I don't know. Go. I can still watch most of his movies. I can watch more than once.
Which ones?
The Polanski.
Oh yeah. Is I mean, I'm not sure if his latest, probably not his latest movie. I can't remember that, but is Jacques also influenced Red Depot. It was obviously the depiction of that story, that the Dreyfus affair, but it paints a nice picture of.
He has one of my favorite romantic movies from ever. How's it called? Bittersweet. I don't remember how it's called in English. With Mel Woodfell. I never remember the name.
Bitter Moon.
Bitter Moon. Yes, it's a very romantic movie.
I'm certain that I'm forgetting people.
Abel Ferrara.
Oh yeah, Abel Ferrara. Yes.
I was going to say Verhoeven.
Yes, obviously Verhoeven. Another one that is still alive and still doing movies. Actually, what's it called? This non-exploitation.
Yes, Benedetta.
Benedetta, yes. It wasn't an influence, but it could have been if I had watched it before writing Sisters of the Seven Sins. Benedetta is a nice movie. Yes, it's a nice. It's not actually an exploitation. It's almost an exploitation. Well, it is, but in a different style. Okay, Jesus Franco.
Yes.
Jesus Franco is probably. People say that Ed Wood is the bad director. I don't know, the pinnacle of bad directors.
They don't know Jesus Franco.
Jesus Franco is. He has a vast filmography. Very fast filmography. Hundreds of movies. Some of them are good, quite good. Yeah, and some of them have had some budget because there's Dracula. Not Dracula. There are tons of Draculas, but Jesus Franco's Dracula, I think it's a 79 movie. You have Christopher Lee, Klaus Kinski, and someone else. I think it's
the guy from Inspector.
Yeah, not the
Steelers. Yes,
the guy who goes insane in SARS. I think. Okay, that guy.
His boss.
Yeah, his boss. And other movies. I think he has another one with Klaus Kinski.
At least one more with
at least one more.
Kinski.
And he has other movies with other actors. Maybe some of them aren't particularly famous, but the guy has a long career.
Some of his movies are surreal. Okay, yes. Some is because lack of budget doesn't make sense, but at the same time it feels like he's doing it on purpose.
I think so. Yeah. The man was a genius. He knew how to make movies. I have no doubt about that. If he had a larger budget, we don't know what could have happened. It could have been much better, or it could have just done commercial movies. We don't know. We'll never know that. But probably not. It might have been an auteur and then just another one, probably. Maybe he's better because he had such a small budget that he had to do these kinds of movies, not just because there are many authors and some of them are just, okay, they are forgettable. I don't know. But he did brilliant movies, and some of them have several versions. There's sometimes, one of the versions is just a porno movie. an interesting porno movie because it's different from the
It's
usual.
almost an intellectual porno.
Yes,
movie.
they are.
Have strange
They are.
conversations
Yes,
about the
So
meaning
they are
of life.
screaming, but at the same time they are talking about the stuff and all the, and it has a story.
Yeah, and a lot of them are like horror movies, but not your normal horror movies. Just weird things are happening, and you never really understand what the
Yes.
hell they are and why
well,
the characters are afraid.
The cat has always a problem because he had to do those things on the budget and also very fast, so he
It
could
makes them very
make
uneasy.
it. Yes, that's what happened. So okay, I would say that we mentioned our own influences, but in terms of games, Franco was necessarily one of them. The Italian directors who did giallos and spaghetti westerns, and Clint Eastwood, and David Lynch for the horror, of course, obviously. We're through with this one?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so.
we're right.
We need to stop talking about films.
Okay, bye-bye.